Welcome to Sniper Ghost Warrior Contracts. Those of you that played number 3, this is similar but definitely much smoother compared to other games with sniping elements in it. It's more technical for sure, so there's a little more of a learning curve. I wouldn't say it's accurate, but it's more accurate and certainly requires a different knowledge base to get going, and it's not very well explained in the game, so that's what we're doing here today. So I'm going to start out with settings. So first of all, this is version 1.02, which has the day 1 patch, I should say. Day 1 patch. So your settings could be a little differently. This is how I recommend it, is turn off the bullet camera. It gets in the way of follow-up shots unless you somehow really enjoy the gore. Just turn it off. It's not worth it. If you turn toggle sprint on, that means you press the left shift button once and you run until you're tired, unless you press it again, in which time you start walking again. The alternative is on no. If you hold down the shift button, you'll run the whole time. For toggle aim, so you right click the mouse, that aims it the way I have it here with no. If you hold the right click down, you'll stay aimed. If you release it, you'll go back to unaimed. Toggling yes would make it so you stay aimed until you press right click again. Audio, I recommend turning music off unless you like that. There's a lot of audio cues in this game that's important you hear, and the music just gets in the way. It's not a bad soundtrack, but I think it's turn it off. Effects, dialogue, I think those should all be turned up. I personally don't need the subtitles. You of course want to do full screen of whatever your native resolution is, assuming that your video card can actually drive that full resolution at a good frames per second. Full screen is always for the best. You get much better performance. I turn off VSync. My monitor can go up to 144 Hertz, so that's not a problem. This game usually runs in the about 40 to 120 frames per second with my Radeon VII card. Of course, you already did the gamma settings when you started the game the first time. Field of view, it's really up to you. And then I have mine turned up all the way up to highest quality, very high, which makes everything advanced very high. I don't play with a controller. Anyway, you have the settings for mouse in here and keyboard, and all the keyboard settings are here, but boy, they're kind of difficult to figure out what a lot of them mean. And then when you're trying to understand how to play this game. So gadget specific action, for example, well, that's like make a lure work. But to actually throw the lure or a grenade, that's going to be F. And you'll find that you can't find F anywhere in here. So good luck. That's why we're here today. Okay, so I'm going to go to the second contract. That's really more useful than the training one, which is the proving grounds, the first one that you'll go to. The second one is a great contract, but it's kind of a difficult one for teaching you on this just because the visibility is poor, etc. And so I'm going to bring you to number 3, the Kolchak Harbor, because that's really the best one that I've been to so far for kind of giving you a tutorial. So we'll go there. Before you just jump into it, though, it's important because you can't come back to the screen once you're already in the contract. So you have the contract details here. These are the 5 things you need to accomplish. Hack the electronic logbook, etc. You get some money. I'm not sure what it's supposed to be called, but this is supposed to be some sort of a currency. And then tokens. Now there's 3 different kinds of tokens. There's this skull token. There's this one with a lock. I think I call it skill token. And there's the star token. And those are each different, and you can buy different things with them. So it's important to keep track of those. Okay, so here we are. You'll get, here's how much you earn tokens and money for each one of those tasks. And here's the contract details. And so these are the same ones from the previous screen. And then here are the challenges. For example, you killing enemies with mines. You're going to get 1 star token and 19,000 whatever currency it is if you get that accomplished. And then there's bounties and collectibles on top of that. Okay, so that's the specifics. The loadout. Now you can't come back to this screen once you're already in it, so do any tweaking you want before you get into the game. So you have your primary weapon, your secondary weapon, and your handgun. So this is a pretty standard loadout for people that have played other first-person shooter games. This one is your sniper gun. This one is some sort of a assault rifle. You know, I haven't found a lot of use for this except for when you're out of bullets for your primary weapon. And then your handgun gets to be very useful once you have one with a sniper, not a sniper, sorry, a silencer attached to it. And then these are all your gadgets, and you'll start out with a few slots, and then you can purchase more slots as time goes on. So you'll have this little lock on it, and you won't be able to fill them up. So we'll talk a lot about each one of these gadgets does. There's in the top right of your screen, as you go over them, it gives you a little description, but doesn't really talk too much about how you use it. But if you click on them, you can go through all of the descriptions for each one. Okay, so there's that. And then there's the development tab. And now this is for you. Their mask, the suit, the drone and the turret, and then the various gadgets. And so as you upgrade these, and it uses a combination of tokens and money, so for example, this one takes 3-star tokens and 57,000 whatever currency it is. Okay, and then the journal, this is kind of like the help. So all sorts of good information here. Okay, here we are at Kolchak Harbor. A little orientation to our screen before we start doing anything. Bottom left is a mini map. Up is the direction you're facing, and then there's an N for north. Obviously, south is to the bottom, or away from, opposite from the N. West to be to the left, and east to be to the right of the N. So that'll mark various known tagged enemies out there, and they're color coded. So white are in normal state, red is ones that have been alerted. If you press M, you'll bring up the map screen. This red circle with the arrow is you, and the arrow points to where you are facing. These blue hexagons with the triangles are fast travel locations. If you click on them, you'll be able to fast travel to them. You can only do that if you're not, there's not an alarm going on, and you're not trying to, it's not time to escape. You can't escape using those. Okay, so right now those are what you have out there. We'll find some more. The other thing you need to know on the map screen is these blue areas, polygons, are the contract focus areas. So there's missions in each one of these. The blue ones are the kind of the secondary ones, and then the red ones like the final main one, most important one. And then there's these collectibles. So right here. And so these are typically posters. Sometimes they're like notes or drawings or something like that. Not really sure what good they are, but you're supposed to collect them, so you collect them. Okay, if you right click somewhere, you'll set this little funnel looking icon here, and that's just a custom waypoint. So I put that on the lighthouse. So when we press M again, come on back to the main screen, there it is. So we're looking towards it. See how the teal dot is at the top of your screen, kind of northeast. If I press the left control button, you'll get the thermal vision, and it will show your waypoint. That's really helpful when you're trying to navigate. So for example, you want to come through, you want to get onto this bridge, you could put a waypoint right there to help you find it. It's easy to get turned around, especially in the snowstorm on that first mission. Okay, so I'm going to turn off the special waypoint for right now, and we're going to do a little walking around this map really quick. Okay, so here's your contracts. We already went over this, but these are the main missions. The contracts you're going to get paid for and also get some tokens for them. And then here's the challenges. These are very much not required, and they don't all have to happen on the same mission. You can get it on once, then do another run through and get it again, and get another one. And then here's the collectibles, if you've gotten them or not. I don't know why they're even here. They don't seem very important. Okay, so I'm going to press escape, go back, or M, and go back to the shooter screen. Okay, so here we are. We're going to start looking around. We're going to press the T button before we start engaging. It's important to look before you dive in, certainly before you start shooting. Make sure there's no snipers hiding right in our immediate vicinity here. They like to be on top of rocks, sometimes little balcony windows. There's pretty much going to be at least one, if not two or more, on every mission area. Okay, so you can see just with your bare eye right here, there's somebody hanging right there. I'm going to zoom in using the mouse wheel, and then back out. We tag them by just bringing the box over them. So this one here, see, it puts a little box over it. When we line them up, it tags them. That one gets a diamond because he's an officer. This one is a regular soldier, so it gets a triangle. This one is a sniper, so it gets a circle. The officers, they tend to have better intelligence, so if you interrogate them, they can tell you where there's other soldiers, or sometimes where there's supplies. Sometimes if there's something in the way of a soldier's head, you won't be able to tag them. In this case, the sign is blocking them, even though you can see through the sign. See, as soon as he gets away out of the circle, you could tag him. But you can tag through windows. Sometimes you can tag like right through trees, and then other things you can look right at them and there's like a wire in the way and you can't tag them. It's very odd. Anyway, so regular soldiers are triangles, officers are diamonds, snipers are circles. Snipers are by far the most dangerous, as you would expect in this game. They will see you if you get out in the open and you draw any attention to yourself. So that's just walking. Certainly if you start shooting people start dying, they will find you, they will shoot you, you will die. So it's always best first thing to do a good recon around. Make sure you've accounted for all the soldiers that are in an area before you start putting bodies on the ground, or they will notice something's up. Okay, so we've gotten some of them here. We're going to do a little more of a look around. Oh, there's one, two, and there's a third one. Okay, so we're going to come on down, do a little looking. We'll learn how to shoot and walk, and then we're going to do some exploring and exploratory missions with some gadgets, so you get some experience with that. As I talked about in the loadout screen, you have 3 guns. Press 1. So T was to bring up your mask. You press 1 for your sniper rifle, 2 for your secondary, so that's your assault rifle, and 3 is a handgun. You're going to mostly be using your sniper rifle. Okay, so let's come on down.
I'm near the harbor. Sakov has just arrived at the shipyard. His wife is on the move, probably meeting him there.
Got it.
So actually, before we go any further, we're gonna when we get down here, we're gonna shoot that sniper. I'm gonna press Shift to run.
The lighthouse. A good spot to camp.
Okay, I'm gonna press C. Brings me down to kneeling. See at the bottom right of the screen, it shows kneeling. If I press C again, I'll be standing. Standing's less stable and more visible. So why stand when you can kneel, and why kneel when you can lay down? Okay, there's a Pentagon soldier. That's a heavy soldier, has armor. We'll get better. Here, I'll move. We'll get better visibility on him. Okay, so he has that armor. You are going to have difficulty killing him with normal sniper rifles. It takes a few shots to the head, unless you're using armor-piercing bullets, in which case you can get him with one. With a heavy sniper rifle, with the regular bullets, you can get him as long as you hit him in the face mask. It's better just to use sniper rifles. I mean the armor-piercing bullets. Okay, so we're going to press C, kneels, or we can press C and hold it, and that puts us down into prone, which is more stable. Okay, we're going to kind of crawl up using the W key, just like if we were walking. Okay, so see, if we press right button now, we're going to enter the supported stance. Supported stance uses the bipod, or rest the rifle on something. I'm going to press that, and it's good because it's so stable, but you're going to see the downside pretty quickly here. Okay, so here we are. I'm going to aim down, 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 trying to get to that sniper, and this is as far down as I can go, down angle. So clearly I'm not going to be able to shoot that sniper from the bipods here. So I'm going to unaim, press C, that takes me out of supported. I've got to press it again to get up to kneeling, and then I can come back to aim, and now I have full range of motion, and it's actually pretty darn stable. Okay, so now that we're here, a couple things that you need to know. So we're going to walk around the screen again. Far right hand side, it shows us in a kneeling position. Below that, that's showing our gadget that's currently enabled. That is the lure. I'll show you that later. Next to that, the 20, that's how many of the bullets we have extra that aren't in the magazine. And then 5 is how many are in the gun's magazine active and ready to go. So we have a total of 25 regular heavy sniper rifle bullets for this gun, which is what's highlighted. It says that just above the guy that's in the kneeling position. And it also, if we press Z when we're not aiming, we'll switch over to armor-piercing bullets. Okay, there we go. It takes a minute to load them. Now I have a special magazine that will hold both kinds. You have to unload and load if you don't. Okay, so now it shows we have 0 in reserve and all 5 of them are in the gun. I don't want to use armor-piercing bullets because I'm not shooting in one of the heavies right now. Well, actually, let's do it. Here's one right here. He's at 188 meters away. So first way, I can not adjust the... he's going to walk away, so we're going to use a different guy that's going to hold still. I'm going to switch back to regular bullets by pressing Z again. Okay. Okay, so there's 2 ways to do your holdover. So bullets are controlled by the laws of gravity, so they accelerate towards the ground at 9.8 meters per second. And so the longer they are in the air, the more they're going to drop. The further they need to shoot, the longer they're in the air, the more they're going to drop. So you need to compensate by that by aiming higher. and they'll drop. So that's the first, that's the verticalness of your hold. So if you're close, you could aim there, about 100 meters, it should be about there, 200 meters, 300 meters, 400 meters, and so on. But there's also wind that you need to contend with. The wind, as long as it's going towards you or away from you, is not a big deal. If it's going crosswise, left or right, it starts having an impact. In reality, so in real life, 279 meters with a 4 meter per second wind that's kind of going towards you, not really much of a problem. But in this game, the effective wind is greatly exaggerated, as is drop. Okay, so at the top of your reticle here, it shows there's a 5 meter per second wind that's going roughly towards you. And so that's going to take it just slightly to our, push the bullet slightly to our right. So if this is how far it would drop at 100 meters, this is how much at 200 meters. We know that he's at 279 meters, so roughly right about there would hit him in the head, because it's going to drop halfway, about 3/4 of the way, 4/5 of the way between the 200 and the 300 meter mark. Now, the little white animation shows roughly how the bullet's going to drop. It's going to hit the end of each of those orange bars. So if I bring it to the left a little bit, like so, that's about where the bullet will hit him. It'll be right in the head there. So that's one way to do it. So we're going to go ahead and shoot this way, and then I will show you how to adjust the reticle. So the other thing that's really important is when you start a new mission, at least in version 1.02, the reticle is all wrong. So on the right hand part of your screen, it shows a 100. That's the 0 range. Notice that there is a 100 right aiming in his head right now. So that's wrong. So I'm going to press E to zoom it in and see how it changes. Now it's correct. 100 is the top, and it still says 100 on the right, even though all of the bars changed. Now if I press Q, now it says 0 on the right, and this is how the middle of the reticle worked originally. It's just a bug with this version. Hopefully they'll fix it. So right now, if I shoot right now, it will hit him in the head. So I'm going to press the left shift button to stop breathing, hold my breath, and then I'm going to fire using the right mouse button. There you go. Easy. Okay, so the other one right there is at about 311. I'm going to press the E button. This is another way to do it, to increase the reticle, just the 0. So he saw that dead body up there, and so he came running. So we're going to have to shoot somebody else. And notice how he instantly alerted everybody out here. Okay, so we're going to shoot this guy. I'm going to press Q button to reduce our holdover to 175 meters. It's going to put it right about there. Let's do some looking at some gadgets. Okay, so first of all, there's a soldier right there. And we're not going to tag him because I want to show you a gadget that will do that for you. But notice he's right there. Okay, there's also a couple more walking down the valley here. So we're going to come on down to them.
Sekov has just arrived at the shipyard. His wife is on the move, probably meeting him there.
Got it.
Okay, first thing, we're going to push down and hold down the mouse wheel. Now, as you move the mouse around, not the mouse wheel, the mouse, you can select different items. So here's our secondary rifle, our assault rifle, our sniper rifle, our handgun. And then here's our various gadget slots. I have one that's still locked up, and then these ones are filled. You can't have multiple things, different things in the same slot. So this one's a decoy trap, bed bouncing Betty is what we're actually going to use here. Gonna walk over to the edge, press E to climb down. That should be stealthier than just jumping off the edge. Now I'm gonna go to the edge here, I'm gonna press F to toss it. Okay, so you can see it right there. If you press Control, it'll glow. Same thing in landmines, you'll be able to see them. While we're in Control, you can see these white lines. They indicate edges that you can grab onto when you're climbing. Turn off Control now. Okay, so right here we can easily shoot him from a nice close range with this silenced pistol, and that would be great, except for I want to show you how this bouncing Betty works. Now I could shoot it and it might kill him from the distance he's at right now, but that would take away a lot of the learning. Okay, so we're going to do one other thing. Okay, so we have those two guys walking towards us here. We're going to use the warning device, which essentially is a beacon you can leave someplace that will identify, will tag any guys when they get when they walk closely enough to it. So we're going to come down here. I'm going to toss it down there with the F button. Okay, it's just going to sit there until guys get close enough. Well, they were close enough when I threw it down there, but if they walk up to it, they will get tagged, and you'll get that sound to know that there's somebody coming up. It's a good thing to do, set it behind you when you go into a sniper location, so you can hear if they're coming in, and it will tag them, so also they'll show up on your map. Okay, so the other thing we're going to want to do is try out the gas mine trap. So we're going to set that up. I'm going to toss this here behind them so they can... Okay, so it's right there, and it's just going to sit there until somebody walks up to it. Like the other objects, if you press Control, they'll glow. Okay, so let's come on up to this first guy. And notice he got tagged by our little remote thing too. Okay, so we already know we have a bouncing Betty right there. I'm going to press Q to throw a rock, which will grab their attention.
Charlie 50 to HQ. We had an explosion at our 20. Do you copy?
Okay, this guy comes back, and then the gas goes off. And kills him. Easy. Okay, so that's a couple of the gadgets. I'll show you some more in a little bit. That warning deal will keep on working. I'm going to go ahead and press E, loot the body, take whatever goodies he happens to have on him. You can also press V to pick them up, move them, and then you press V again, you'll throw them. And that's a great way to hide the body so somebody doesn't find it. Okay. Okay, so here's the gun from the first guy. I can swap it out, and it would replace this assault rifle. I'm going to press E, and it swaps that AK-47 with this semi-automatic shotgun. I'm going to also loot this body here. And there we go. Okay, so I mentioned earlier if I press control you see the white lines. Notice how you have a good climbing place right there. We can come up to it. And then you can use the space bar to jump. Okay, so that brings us to a pretty good stopping point for right now. I'll show you the lure. Let's see, and we also have this. Well, the C4 is pretty self-explanatory. I'll just show you that right here. Press F to toss it. You can see it right there by pressing the control button. We're going to walk away from it because you don't want to be close. And then when you press B, it'll blow it up. There you go. Oh. Okay, let's see. We haven't done the decoy trap yet. Okay, decoy trap is just a lure. It can get upgraded to it has more ability.
A good spot to camp.
So it can get upgraded so that it's also a trap. Right now, mine just will lure them in. So let's come on down. Okay, so you'll notice the energy is going down as I run, and then if I stop running or go to walk, it starts recovering. That's the bottom of the screen. And next to it says we have 100 health. If we jump off a high point, which we'll do here, it'll get injured.
Seeker, we have new intel. We have learnt that Kurchatov ordered the secret police to bug his brother-in-law.
Where's the trust these days?
Anyway, if we go off a high point, we'll get injured, but we'll quickly recover. No, I guess that wasn't high enough. Okay, so there's some enemies down here. We're going to head on down there and we'll use our lure down there. There we go. So we went down to half health and that recovered it. Okay, I'm going to switch over to the handgun. Okay, you can see that there's a heavy and a regular there. I'm going to squat down. I don't want them to see us just yet. Okay, so we can use this lure. Okay, so there we tossed one, and we could use that in combination with, like I say, a bouncing Betty, or we can use it just to lure them to some place that we want to shoot them. Okay, so I'm gonna probably just wait down here. I'm going to press B to activate it. Oh, that didn't work. Well, those are pretty anemic, huh? Okay, so we're going to start off with the throwing knives. Okay, you just need to get in close to them, aim at the head, and press the F button. So we're going to That's it. Press the F button, and you get them. And then make sure you go loot them and get your knife back. UAS, the dragonfly. Press F to launch it. Now this only works if you're away from one of the antennas. If you're too close, you'll get a black screen. But when you can use it, it's super handy. Okay, so use the WASD keys and then use the space to go up and the C to go down. As you can tell, it makes navigating around in this snow nightmare a whole lot easier. Top right is the battery, and the top left is the signal strength. Okay, so we found those guys, ran out of battery up here, so we're gonna do it again. It's easier if you put a pin, help keep you oriented when you're in the air. Oh, there's 3 guys right there. It's handy rather than bumbling into them in the dark. Okay, gonna press C. It goes down. And space goes up. Spinning in front of us here is a drone jammer. Drone jammers are a pain, not just because the drones won't work, but it also messes up your tagging. Also messes up your tagging. So here we have an individual. As soon as you go away, 1, 2, 3 seconds later it goes away. And that's because of this drone jammer right here. If you destroy it either by blowing it up or using an EMP grenade, it will stop working, and that will solve your problems. It'll also allow you to fly a drone again. Right now, if I launch this, it will not like it. Sometimes you can fly away far enough away from it that it'll work better. But yeah. So anyway, if we can just deactivate that, it'll be good. Okay, so let's get in, sneak in there close, see what we can do. If anybody sees us throw EMP grenade, they're gonna freak out. They think it's a real grenade, right? Okay, so we're gonna come out to a better vantage point.
HQ, we have eyes on Tango. Clear. Victor 3 to base. We have enemy contact. Over.
Okay.
Position. Over.
Now, they stay tagged. Turret time. Use the mouse wheel to select the turret. Then press and hold F as you move. Places that are okay are green. Bad places are red. Release the F when you're happy with it. Now press T to activate your mask. You're going to select who you want to shoot. Select it, press H to tag. See this one has number 1 there. See now the number has number 2 on it. I can unselect them by pressing H again or reselect it. Okay, we only want to do one because I would like to shoot the other one. Okay, so we're going to press G to fire. So in this case, we'll have both the turret and me shoot at the same time. We're going to wait till they're paused. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Oh, 3, 2, 1. Just press H and the mouse key at the same time to fire them both simultaneously. Smoke time. Okay, smoke grenades. Use the gadget wheel. You use F to set it. It will then create a nice dense smoke. It goes with the wind, so you need to think about the wind direction. But it's a great way to create a blanket of smoke so that you can do dastardly things with low visibility. Okay. Gas grenade. I have an unfortunate soldier down there. And the biggest problem with the grenade, the gas grenade, is how long it takes to go off, and they always run away. Pretty much the only time it works is if they're all running into it. It can mess you up as well, so be aware of that as well. If this tutorial has been helpful, please leave a message below. Thanks.